I'm Séverine Autesserre. I'm an assistant professor of political science at Barnard, and I teach international relations and African politics. I grew up in Paris, and both of my parents were working for the French national radio station, Radio France, and my dad was working with war reporters mostly, and with people who covered international politics. So my dad would travel all the time to cover wars on different continents. I wanted to be a journalist like my parents. I wanted to travel. I wanted to be a war reporter. So I went to South Africa to work on my English while still working on my journalism. I ended up working with Voice of Soweto, which was a small community radio station based in the Cato. One day we were doing a story on slum dwellers near Soweto. The government wanted to destroy the houses and relocate them somewhere else. I was really shocked because we were witnessing people being kicked out of their house, we were witnessing police violence, we were witnessing something pretty terrible. And so I was looking at my friends and like, we have to do something, we have to do something. And they're like, no, we're journalists, we're just here to cover the story, we cannot interfere. And I thought, well, journalism is just not for me. I just want to be an activist. So I began working with Doctors Without Borders. I was, I think, 22, 23, something like that. I was taking the summers off to go and work and coming back to New York in the fall to do my PhD. And one of the things that struck me when I was in the field was first the difference that exists between perceptions of the situation from the headquarters, from capital cities, and perceptions of the situation by people on the ground. So I remember this time I was in Congo. It was in 2003, and there was massive fighting with lots of people displaced, with terrible human rights violations. I got asked to go to this meeting with a very big shot from the European Union who was visiting. She started lecturing us, well, you know, the Congo is at peace, so now you have to stop thinking that you're working in a war zone, you have to start crossing the front line. And we're like, well, we crossed the front line, we're going to be killed. How can she have a perception of the situation that is so different from what we know is going on? And the other thing that I saw when I was in the field is that the very idea of coming as a foreigner and thinking we have the knowledge that is needed to help populations on the ground, that creates a lot of negative consequences and a lot of problems for international peace building. So I thought, well, if I'm a professor, I'll have all of the time I need to do this kind of thinking. I have all of the contacts, I have the network, and I have the freedom to write what I want because I'm at Barnard, and I'm not going to lose my job because I criticize the United Nations. When I travel abroad, I end up meeting with some of the students whom I had in my classes. And then I would get emails as well from other students who are in Botswana, who are in Cambodia, who are in Thailand, who were in Chile, in different parts of the world, and telling me about the work that they were doing for international aid organizations in these other countries. And being able to continue to have these global conversations with students in all different parts of the world.